All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. Back with my post-fight thoughts on Bellator 300's Chris Cyborg versus Kat Zingano. All right, y'all, so I meant to do a video about this yesterday, but I really wasn't in a rush because even though the majority of the WMMA fights were stoppages, some of them just didn't really have that satisfaction to me. Now, shout out to Jenna Bishop, though. Like, to me, that was like the highlight out of all the WMMA fights, which I'll talk about in another video, man, because I was feeling that approach that Jenna Bishop took and Yawani's approach. Just something about the energy in that fight. And, just watching Jenna Bishop's performances and how she's climbing this ladder over here at Bellator. I'm impressed by her, man. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. Chris Cyborg versus Kat Zingano. Like I said, this fight, it was pretty much a long time coming. Maybe it should have happened like 2 or 3 years ago. But in my opinion, I think it still would have been the same outcome. And maybe that's one reason I really wasn't excited about this one. Now, I was rooting for Kat. I root for the underdog. And, I just, like that she finally signed on to take the fight. They finally got everything worked out. And they were just going to settle it, So, yeah, I wanted to see Kat go in there and do something. But like I was telling most of y'all on my channel, like, just because I'm rooting for her, I can't say I can pick her, because I know what Chris Cyborg is capable of and, what she's done throughout her career and all the tools that she possesses and just how she's just, Chris Cyborg, she's been pushing out the emotion as far as her fights. She's been pushing out a lot of the emotion and she's been fighting more with discipline, especially with her boxing. That period of time where she was out from her last fight against Arlene Blencowe, April of 2022, she took that period to get a couple of boxing matches in. And I think boxing kind of gave her this newfound discipline that she's been translating over to MMA with her striking and how she places her punches, So when you factor in this solid, technically sound, disciplined Chris Cyborg versus an aging Kat Zingano. Now, don't get me wrong, they're both aging, but one fighter I feel like is doing more as far as starting to become more defensive minded and disciplined, like Chris Cyborg. I think Kat Zingano, again, the Asian fighter that has some limited skills, she's gonna have a hard time with Chris. She's gonna have a hard time just like everybody else did. So when it came down to it, Chris Cyborg stopping Kat Zingano, that's not unrealistic. It just wasn't unrealistic, man, because in order to beat Chris Cyborg, you got to be able to get past the power, take away the power, or take the power at least once or twice to get in where you need to be. And the first minute of the round, I like the fact Kat was trying to stay at range, kind of like Carla Esparza. She was throwing kicks, trying to find that range, trying to touch the leg of Chris Cyborg. And she threw a head kick at one point and tried to dive in, drop a level, and take Chris down. But you see the strength there. Chris reversed it real quick, had to pop back up and reset again, And if she couldn't match Chris Cyborg's jab or at least land something on Chris Cyborg, she wasn't going to stop. And there was a point where Kat Zingano had landed like one power shot, I believe it was like a body kick or something, and Chris went kind of wild in there. So I said, ooh, she must have got her pretty good. Like, Kat touched her to where Chris kind of reacted and swung this wild combination, but then Kat exited and just stayed on the outside again, So maybe it was still in there where Kat Zingano could have triggered something and made her come after her and she could counter her, but only if you're Amanda Nunes can you really do something like that, or if you're a much more disciplined striker, that maybe you could keep touching Chris and make her react kind of like Andrade does, Like, Chris Cyborg has a little bit of that Jessica Andrade in her. Like, if you hit her clean, she'll get mad and she'll come after you, There's a few fighters that have that. Like, Valentina has that a little bit too, but you got to have the striking ability, on the back foot to be able to lure them into a trap. And Kat didn't really have that. The scary part is, like, after Kat took a couple of shots, I believe she got dropped too, man. Like, I don't know if it was just like the feints, the nervousness, but like Kat just kept having like this head bop thing, man, that looked kind of scary to me. Like, I don't know, it was like, her head was kind of shaking. Like, I don't know if she took like a hard shot from Chris at one point where she went down or, just got cracked whenever she went into the cage and she like just kind of folded up and the ref gave her a chance to get out of that and recuperate. But like, just the overall body language of Kat was kind of scary at some point. Like, when she couldn't really get into a groove, I know some people thought she might have been gassed already after that 1 or 2 level change in clinches, but there was something there, man, like where Kat's head was shaking, man. I don't know. It just didn't look normal to me. Like, I never really noticed that before her fights, but like her head was kind of like shaking. Like, I don't know if it was like the power punch that she took to head and maybe gave her a bit of a concussion again or woke something up. So as the round went on, when she took another couple of shots and went down and just kind of folded up, the referee definitely had to step in, man. I think she maybe ate one too many there, but I think as soon as she went down and folded up like she did, I would have been like, oh, that's enough, But yeah, that's how it played out, man. Cris Cyborg, just too big, too strong, too skilled. And if you don't have anything to get her respect or really hurt her, or you don't have the strength, you're not really going to go in there and draw this thing out. And, going back and looking at the Arlene Blencowe fight, even that fight, like Arlene Blencowe, to me, I think that Cris kind of carried her through that fight because I think she could have finished a little bit early as well in that one. But this fight here just shows you what happens when Cris is really turned on, when she's ready to come after you and get it done. But after the fight, you see Cris go over there try to dap it up with Cat Zingano, and, Cat didn't want to hear it, so Cris had to go on. And this will probably be another video. I'll do another part to this because to me, it's like there was bad blood there, so there was no love, no loss. So, you can kind of go over and say, oh, not even console the person, but just say, good fight, that was it. But I really wouldn't try to touch him and hug up on him if you didn't feel that way about him before, right? But anyways, yeah, Cris Cyborg from here, she called out Leah McCourt. They looked face to face. They stood face to face. Like, this is the next fight, which it is. To me, it's not really an interesting fight. To me, Leah McCourt is still somebody that's trying to put her game together to get where she needs to be. But slim pickings. There's only like 7 featherweights in the top 7 division, right? There's 7 fighters. They don't even have a top 10 anymore, So it more than likely is going to be Leah by the process of elimination. But, Leah, to me, is still not ready for that. She lost to two vets, Kavanaugh and Cat Zingano, and I picked Sara McMann to win in this fight, but shoot, Sarah was having a time taking her down, man, because Leah McCourt, she's a big woman, though. But, I believe Cris Cyborg has what it takes to win this next fight, too. As for Cat Zingano, I think personally she should retire. This was like her 5th fight on this Bellator contract. And, I mean, she could fight out her contract if there's a couple more fights against lower safe fighters. Her and Sara McMann could fight. That fight never happened in the UFC. Just get it out the way and, ride off in the sunset now, man, because I think right now Cat Zingano, she's more of a danger to herself, But like I said, I'll talk about the other stuff in another video. But that's where I'm at with this fight. That's my thoughts. It was really uneventful main event for the WMMA fans, because we knew how this fight would play out. We just wanted to get out of the way. Cris can move on from here. Kayla Harrison, Pacheco, whatever, after she beats Leah McCourt. But let me know, guys, what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.